If you're in a scenario where the grasses or the weeds have choked out the clover, well, how do you kind of revitalize that?
This is where my opinion would differ from other people's. Probably a lot of people go in and mow it. I think you're better off spraying it first, because if you just go in and mow it when that, especially grasses, if it's tall, especially you see it in your lawn when you mow your grass or whatever, you get that matted stuff. If you go in and just mow that grass right now, if it's tall, it's going to mat over, and that clover isn't going to come up real good through it. So in my opinion, you're better off going in and spraying it, letting it die off really good, and then mowing it. And it seems like that grass that breaks down a lot better and allows that clover to come up through it better. I mean, it's almost gonna be like putting straw down.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
To retain moisture. So I would err towards more going in and spraying it before you mow it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Drury Outdoors 100% Wild podcast, powered by DeerCast and First Phorm Energy, and hosted by two young men who know exactly what Will is talking about.
Okay, you're Tim Chelswick.
You're Matt Drury.
And I'm drinking First Phorm because I probably like you and probably like everybody in the studio. There were some storms blowing in last night. Man, we had to take the kids down to the basement at like 11:30. Had to wake them and take them down there. And
I almost texted you because I assumed that there's still probably blue tarps in your neighborhood on some people's roofs.
Oh yeah,
and
like
stuff,
everybody's house is still trash from the tornado in March.
Because that's the insult to injury. Because even people that live in like urban St. Louis, where they experienced the direct hit back on Friday night,
just a couple nights
they
ago,
got hit again. And yeah, like our phones went off around 11:30. So wake up, go down, wake the kids up, go downstairs and do that whole thing. I was also thinking about my poor muddy blinds that are still out from turkey season.
They gone.
And I don't know where they're going to be when I go back out there, but
yeah. You know what? Surprisingly though, like I have several actual, not pop-up blinds, but actual muddy box blinds and hawk blinds that were up, and none of them, knock on wood, through the last 2 months have been blown over.
That's amazing.
And I don't have them secured. Like 4 of them were on Keen trailers, so they're just popped up, and they have the outriggers or whatever, but they're not really secured to the ground.
When they're on trailers like that, do you leave them fully extended or do you crank them down?
Tim, you should crank them down.
What are you supposed to do? What are you doing?
I have them all up because I haven't been back to the farms basically. Oh, I was in turkey season, but we're busy in turkey season.
Yeah,
plus, you never know when you need to jump up into one. But Friday, actually, Thursday, Aaron and I went up to the farm and we took down because we lost a big lease that we had last year together. So we finally got all the blinds off of it. We got all the cameras off of it, but no damage anywhere.
You learn the hard way that if you cook meth on someone else's ground, you get kicked out.
Yeah, they get a little pissy. So,
something I was going to ask you back during turkey season was, did you do much evening hunting?
A little bit, not much at all.
Why's that?
We did. Why? Well, mostly because of location. Like by the time I would get home, it's like
long day.
It's a long ass day. I mean, my stuff's 2 hours, all 2 hours. Tim, I don't know how not to. We've gone over this. This is the PG language version of me. I don't know. Everything's like 2 hours away, just about. It's just tough to do that. But when we were up at Dad's with the kids, with Cameron, we hunted in the afternoon one day, and I think we finally gave up at like 6.
Yeah,
5:30 or 6.
We should introduce Mr. Forrest Bonin. He's joining us from the truck in Bushnell, Illinois. Forrest, what about you? Did you guys do much evening hunting?
We did not do a ton of it. I mean, we were pretty busy during turkey season. Typically, we hunted the morning, went to breakfast per Terry's request almost every morning. And then came back, struck a little bit. And then when it was dry there, we were hopping in the planter and planting corn and soybeans. So we didn't hunt too many evenings.
Yeah. I think I hunted 1 or 2 evenings.
Yeah.
And something about it
don't feel right.
Exactly. I don't want to. I don't want
to hunt evenings.
I'm going to sit in this blind, but I don't really care to see a bird. Thank you.
I don't want to be here.
It's like flying a kite at nighttime. It just feels unwholesome for some reason.
I think the real reason is, that you suck because you failed in the morning. Like I couldn't get one killed this morning. Everybody's got high hopes right on the roost. They're like, oh yeah, gonna kill one right off the bat. And then when that goes away, you're thinking, well, maybe I'll be able to call one in here. And then that goes away. And you're like, well, maybe that 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock guy will go to breakfast and come back and try to get him before noon. Then that goes away.
That 4:30 late afternoon evening transition period, that'll get him.
Yeah. Well, can you relate to any of this at all, Killer Forrest?
Oh, I don't know.
No, he's going to say no.
We had a little bit of luck this year in the mornings off the roost. So,
I mean, you're eating breakfast after you kill.
We had a couple mornings we did that.
We were eating breakfast because we had nothing else to do.
It's called eating your emotions, I think.
Yeah. So, but I'm glad turkey season's over and we're on to the next thing. We're back into deer mode. I saw Forrest on your stories yesterday. You had put a screenshot of you. I guess you were talking. It was of your phone, and you were talking to Terry for an hour and a half, basically. And it said, "Turkey season's over. Now on to the deer planting."
Yep, turkey season's over, and I mean, we never really went out of deer mode, but I mean, Iowa season went a week later, so I had another week to hunt after Missouri closed. And man, it closed on Sunday. That Monday morning, Terry was like, "How'd Iowa go?" And after we got that little 5-minute blurb over, then it was on to talking about deer. And
enough about you. Now on the more important.
It's kind of like Christmas. You know, there's this huge buildup to Christmas, and then December 26th, you're like, okay,
Christmas is over. Let's take the tree down.
New Year's is next. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So what kind of plans are you guys cooking up? I mean, I always find this interesting because you like, you know, Mark's Farm with Wade and Perry and you guys up there, you're all what I would say ultra dialed in already. So this is the kind of next level planning you guys do every year and really all year long. So what kind of things are you talking about for an hour and a half that you couldn't have already been possibly talking about for the last, because you just spent a month together during turkey season?
I mean, a lot of it's repetitive, but I mean, we get talking.
Anybody that's ever talked to Dad, Forrest just said a mouthful.
To make a long story short,
a lot of it's repetitive.
We're going to err on the side of caution.
I've heard the same stories for 30 years now about the first 5 years of the company's history.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when he starts a story now, I'm pretty sure I could finish it for him at this point.
Do you ever like fill in what's coming up next in the hopes that he'll think,
stop?
Oh, he knows the punchline here.
No.
They don't stop though, even if I include a little detail or whatever. But sometimes I'll bring up if there's a story I want to hear him say because it's funny when he tells it. I'll kind of hint at it a little bit because I know the whole thing and it'll be funny to the conversation. But no, I mean we're right now like we're talking about planting, spraying. I mean hot wiring. Kind of our big conversation yesterday was a lot of we're going to hot wire some different fields this year. I'm just looking at going back, looking at trail cam pictures from last fall, what deer made it through, where we think we're going to be kind of focusing our efforts this year. So we're going to hot wire a couple spots that we haven't in the past. And we were kind of talking about how we wanted to hot wire them for different winds and different blinds. And we're going to move a couple blinds around on 1 or 2 spots this year for those hot wired spots. Looking to start keying on a couple different deer this fall.
So. When you're hot wiring, are you going a couple rows deep to keep them from jumping over?
Put one up and then 4 feet later put another one up.
Yeah, so they can't land.
Definitely. I mean, I know everyone kind of has their own little strategy and what works. The deer density is so high on Terry's main farm there that what's worked for us is we do 3 strands on the inside and 2 on the outside. And they're about, I don't know, I kind of eyeball it now, but 3.5 feet apart probably between those rows. But the 2 on the outside, 3 on the inside, it kind of keeps the deer from trying to squirt through them. And then that top strand on the inside, I run it really high. It's probably 5 feet off the ground. It kind of makes them think twice about trying to jump into that hot wire.
So you got everything planted already. You guys have been, I mean, you planted fairly early, didn't you?
Yeah, we had a couple good dry periods there. And with Mark and Terry talking about potentially having a bad drought this year, they wanted to get everything in early. So we went ahead. We've got everything in the ground. All of our corn's 6 to 8 inches tall and soybeans are 2 to 3 probably.
So when you go to hot wire, you're hot wiring mostly the soybeans, right? Not necessarily the corn.
There's a few spots this year we're actually hot wiring some corn. The deer, for whatever reason, last year when it got in that silked out milk stage, they hammered it pretty hard. So there was 2 spots we wanted to have some corn saved for this year. So I went ahead and typically most of the spots were doing that. There's soybeans as well. So I'm hot wiring part of the soybeans and just running my wire through the corn as well. And protecting both of them.
So it's more about specific deer. You guys talked about whatever deer that made it through and that you're targeting for this year that's mature or whatever, maybe you passed them last year. So there's a specific deer, you kind of know the history based on the trail camera, history or whatever. And so you're going in there and you're like, okay, we're designing this specific spot. We're moving this blind to hit these types of winds, which is when we normally would see them. And we're going to go ahead and make sure the food's there by hot wiring. That's basically the gist of what you guys are talking about.
Yep, pretty much.
So what kind of deer are we talking? Like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old? I know a lot of times he'll pass them. He'll try to get them to 6 even up there.
The 3 main deer we talked about yesterday, one's going to be a 7-year-old, one will be a 6-year-old, and one will be a 5-year-old this year.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting. You guys are like what I would say the farm is already dialed in, but then it's a micro adjustment.
It's next level,
and that's the stuff all these great hunters are doing. It's like, okay, yeah, I got the basic gist of the farm setup, but now this deer was hanging out here all the time, so maybe I was hunting primarily on the western side of the farm. Well, this deer hangs out on the east side, so we're kind of switching our focus over there.
It's crazy. Yeah. Just the intimate knowledge that you guys have of those animals. Unreal. It's
such a different feeling of what, you and I are losing leases, picking up leases. You're on 10 acres or 2 acres. You're next to a road, you're whatever, and it's just like you kind of have the history, but you're really just kind of hunting what would be the smart way to hunt that spot. Not necessarily
doing the best with what you have
for a deer that you have, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And under a lot of limitations that the landowner has. Like a lot of places I hunt, I'm hunting there because they don't want deer on their ground. They want less deer.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for me to put a food plot in to bring in more deer. That's exactly what they don't want.
Well, you should say, I'm bringing them into this spot to kill them. I'm going to murder them right here.
Right.
Because that's what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it comes down to like a sheer killability. Like, do I have time to kill all the
answer is no.
Does and like do all that management? I could spend a month doing just doe management.
Yeah.
But
you aren't able to do that.
It's weird. We talked about the early green up back during turkey season. and you're talking about having corn and beans already growing. The mulberry trees around here typically start to fruit in early June. There's already ripe mulberries on the trees.
Spell that.
Mulberry.
Sound like you're saying myrberries.
Really?
Like Franken Myrrh.
This thing tastes like garbage. It tastes like cologne. I don't want this. Yeah, but it's almost a month early to be having mulberries available.
So, Forrest, how do you think that'll affect the season, or will it even that everything started so early? I mean, we had we had Mark on, and I'm sure you saw the reel where he talked about the
Gleisberg Index.
Yeah. And it's gone over like 1 million views. Like it went viral for us.
People are like, it rained here last night.
It's flooding here. Everybody's really pissed. Like those are the great reels where Mark or somebody says something and they're like, well.
Oh, yeah.
And he's talking about July, August, September. I think those like diehard hunters realize that. He's talking about later in the year.
Yeah.
So do you think this early spring, everybody's like, oh man, the antler growth's going to be insane. Well, not if it stops because of the drought in, the summer. Well, say we don't have a drought. How do you think the early spring could affect the fall, if at all?
I mean, I don't know. It always seems to kind of average out no matter what happens. I mean, you're going to get your average rainfall. Like actually up at Terry's farm right now, we're about a half inch behind the average 10-year average for rainfall.
For year to date, I guess.
For year to date, we're a half inch behind.
It's crazy.
Gleisberg Index.
Yeah. But then like talking to some guys I know down in Southern Illinois, they're like 5 inches ahead. So, I mean, I guess different parts of the country, it could affect it a little bit differently, but I mean, typically, I don't know, with all the trees and the foliage and growing periods, like some of the crops may come out a little bit earlier. A lot of farmers got their crops in earlier. So they may be able to harvest earlier, which could affect, I mean, it could have deer shifting a little bit as those crops come out, cut that bedroom down. But overall, I don't think it's going to affect it a ton. It may, like Terry and I were talking about the antler growth yesterday. It seems like some of the deer have a pretty good jump on antler growth. Like I've seen some deer up there already that are, I saw a deer up in Iowa the other day. I mean, he was already splitting his G2 off. He had huge bases, really big G1s already. It does. And we've had some pictures. We left the stealth cams rolling through turkey season there. And we had some deer that looked like they had a pretty good jump. But we were talking about if it does dry up and becomes a drought, they could have good mass, good main beam length, then their tines could be short. Their tines could stun out.
Yeah.
So,
you worry about too much rain during the spring and that flooding out deer nests, and the eggs end up getting destroyed because of too much water.
The deer nest.
I didn't know deer nested, man. That's new.
Yeah,
Hey,
each doe lays approximately 8 eggs every spring.
Usually only 2 make it. Yeah, people come to this podcast to learn things. I don't know if you knew that.
Not this episode.
New segment, wildlife fact of the day.
Right. It's usually wrong, but it's sponsored, so we're good. It's like we were talking about AI hallucinations and how sometimes AI will just make stuff up to have an answer. And I realized my mom's been doing that her whole life. Most parents.
I've been doing it my whole life. That's the beauty of that. Like when Miranda and I first started dating. So this would have been, I guess, 2010, 11, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I would always, she'd say something. I'd be like, well, and tell her what I like, some bullshit answer that I thought was true.
Wow, he knows
When she started
everything.
Googling it, this is like during the dating period. She'd be like, no, like that's not what it said. And I'm like,
the shine's wearing off.
Hold on. Yeah. Jordan, I'm going to pull something up here real quick.
Speaking of Miranda, we're going to get her on FaceTime, folks.
I don't think she would like that.
Forrest.
I needed to find, you were speaking about AI, and I wanted to show what we've been doing in AI, if I can find it.
Yep. Yeah, just one more step towards our show assimilating into the Matrix.
Okay. That's
Hi, little Timmy.
I don't know, Forrest, if you've seen this at all. The baby podcasts that they like, Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan or whatever. Well, now I'm starting to see like movies, like famous movies that we love. So there was the scene from not Black Sheep. What's the other one with Chris Tommy Boy, the hotel scene, the motel scene where he's knocking on the door. They did that one, like the Dumb and Dumber scene. They're doing these with these AI babies. So that was Tim, and then here's me. And
does that look anything like you as a baby?
Chubby face, yes.
it's got the Michelin
giant
Man arms.
forehead.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I want to really zone in on
drink
is this. The killing 120s and stuff. Jordan, I said to Jordan, producer Jordan, and he goes, even AI's throwing shade at you.
Did Jordan, did he prompt it to do that?
No, I'm the one that did this one. And I just took a picture that Jordan grabbed for me and I put it into ChatGPT. And it changed the thing that said killing 230s and stuff to say killing 120s and stuff. It's right next to me.
So sometimes AI is spot on.
Yeah. So this one, I said, add more hair to it.
That's a good head of hair.
That is a good head of hair. What I really got a kick out of is on yours. Look at the way the hair is.
It's kind of
pretty accurate.
Derivative. Yeah.
This was the picture that we took it from.
And it's only getting more and more so. Little faux hawk going there.
Timmy.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that does not look like me as a baby.
How do you? Well, we don't. I mean,
there's no way of knowing.
Yeah, I think it looks great. So, anyways, that's what we've been up to here at the office.
Farting around on AI.
Yeah.
So working hard.
Yeah.
What happened to that?
Well, where this is going to come into play, Forrest working hard. We're going to make a baby AI video from it.
And it'll be the highest rated thing we do.
Yeah. We've had some really good reels lately. And episodes. The Mark robbed episode. Last I looked was at like 25,000 views. Yeah. I don't know where it's at now.
People start texting me like, "Hey, did Mark get robbed? Did his truck get sold?" I was like, "Hey, you'll go listen to the show."
I had
we answer all the questions in the show.
Mark called me. He's like, "I've had so many people reach out," and you know, I saw some of the comments. Everybody's like, "It's not a robbery if they stole your stuff. A robbery is when they actually."
That's part of the fun of it.
We didn't. Wade's the one that said they got robbed. We just used that for the title.
We've been hoodwinked.
So,
well, that's part of the formula going forward. Every episode, there will be some. Yeah, big picture lying.
Yes.
Micro picture having some type of crime committed against us.
That's right. I feel like I've had a crime committed against me every day. Every day I go into the woods. The crime is I can't kill shit.
It's not fair.
That's the crime.
You need to travel. What states are still open for turkey?
I traveled to Idaho last year, bud.
That's true.
It was expensive. Man, didn't work out.
I've had so many people tell me about this bear hunt. Oh, they're easy to like. It's a big target.
Somehow.
They just stay there. And I was like, I'm not buying into any of that stuff.
Buy into the hype.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel. No,
yeah,
I'm not going to do that.
Did you see the somebody put in the Rack Pack here just last night or the day before that they wanted to see what duo you would like to see hunting? You know, and somebody is like, I'd like to see Tim hunt with Mark and see how long it would take for Mark to kick Tim out.
You know what? This isn't working out so well.
You know what? I regret inviting you. Aaron Bennett. He's like, I'd like to see Matt and Taylor film all fall together. And I go, I'm not a very good camera guy. And he goes, I know.
Bingo.
So, yeah. What dynamic duo would you like to see film and hunt together all fall, Forrest?
All fall?
Yeah, all fall.
Oh, I don't know. I enjoyed Kilmer and Comstock in the spring turkey hunt. I'd like to see them deer hunt all fall together.
Comstock would kill Chad.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that'd be the last time I don't know if they'd hunt together the following spring.
So we need to have those two on the podcast, but it needs to be when they're drinking. The hunting camp with Chad and Chris is so fun. Like the nighttime part.
I don't think we've ever had them on.
We haven't, and we should because they are comedy gold.
And we'll all get drunk.
I know it wouldn't be in the set or whatever, but you need to do a podcast with them up in the war room at Terry's farm. Get like Terry, Kilmer, Comstock. Yeah. You do it during rifle season or something.
That's what we need to do. Tim can just call in, or Tim could drive over, not hunt.
I could judge everybody. Oh, you're shooting them with guns.
Or you can. I thought you were going to say I could judge everybody because you're all drinking.
I could do that. It would be a weekend of judging for me.
Yes, it would be.
Oh.
But we were up there with the kids up for turkey season, and Forrest showed me a picture of Chad that he had a screen grab of like a GoPro shot from inside the blind, and Chad the whole morning had his on the muddy head nets. Mm-hmm. The inside's white. That cloth is white. It's not camel on both sides. Chad had it inside out the whole time. So he had it covered his face with a white.
It's like a real ninja.
Yeah, it was freaking hilarious.
Well, and I was a horrible cameraman. I didn't even realize it until I was watching the footage back later. Like we didn't see anything, so I never panned over to do an interview. I did his pre-hunt in the morning. We never did one after daylight.
Did you never look at him?
Well, no, not really. I guess.
I imagine sitting next to a guy all morning long and never turning to him.
I'm going to try to do the rest of the show like that.
He didn't have it up all morning. Like I looked over and noticed like it always like you can see a little bit of white or whatever, but I just figured when he pulled it up, like he had flipped it down and you could see the white or something. The only time he pulled it up, we did see a couple jakes, so I was busy filming them, and that's when he pulled it up, and it was snow white. Like it was
stay low so as not to be seen.
The funny thing about camp with these guys, like they've been around Drury Outdoors, they're, probably close to 30 years. And Dad's farm up there, I mean, those guys have been tremendous help. Forrest has been there how many years? 8?
Yes, this is my 8th turkey season.
But Chad and Chris have been there the entire time he's owned it. And before that, because that's where their turkey camp used to be up there. Coondog had a lease not far from there. So they all kind of converged on that area, and John Williams back in the day. And so they've been hunting with those, the guys forever. But once Dad bought his farm, they've helped him on the farm forever as well. So we've gotten, just a lot of fun times at night in the war room or, in the bunkhouse or whatever, just shooting the shit, drinking and hearing the same stories. We talked about Terry telling the same stories. We've heard the same stories from Chad and Chris forever, but they're always funnier every time you hear them because there's a little bit different twist.
It could be because I'm getting older, but maybe Jim posted this on his Facebook, but it was something like, we don't hunt to go hunt. We hunt to have the stories to tell after, because that's really
what people who don't kill anything say, but I agree.
We got content for years.
Speaking of 3 guys that don't kill much.
Yeah. Remember back in 2006, I saw a tom turkey and I almost killed him.
Yeah. But you're right. That is the fun part is camp. I'd much rather, honestly could care less about the hunting side. Mm-hmm. You end up with funny stories out of the hunts or fun stories or interesting stories out of the hunts. But the best stuff is the camp stuff, right, Forrest?
Oh, when you get back and crack open a beer or soda or whatever you want to drink and then start watching footage.
What do you drink, Tim? What do people like you drink?
People are so weird around me.
Well, you make them uncomfortable.
That, like, when people apologize for swearing around me, or people like, I don't care. I really don't. I'm glad that people have things that they enjoy. It's just that I've chosen not to do certain things. And I really try to not come across as judgy, like the whole
uppity.
Judgy
I call it uppity.
Okay, thank you. That's even worse.
But you're not. You are who you are.
Try not to. But it's funny because I was listening to Rogan here recently, and he was talking about like how he's quit drinking and just all these things. It's like, you live not straight edge, but a lot of the ways that I've lived over time are kind of coming into vogue right now because of the health side of it. Yeah.
I don't eat Casey's pizza.
All this stuff that I typically get made fun of for is kind of coming around as being, that's the stuff you should do.
For some people, yes, absolutely.
For a certain segment of the population, yes.
Yeah. Hey, it's no big deal. Even if you came to camp and you wanted a Zima, we'd find a Zima for you.
Wine spritzer.
Forrest likes to drink all kinds of different things. Sometimes he's a what is it? A lime? What beer is that you get sometimes?
Michelob Ultra with the prickly pear and lime.
Yeah, look. See?
Wow.
We don't judge.
Just one up me.
I'll make sure I have some First Form energy drinks up there.
There you go.
They might be screaming freedom, but
there you
I'll
go.
have it for you.
What did we say? Raging Dad was the next flavor they need to have. Who left the stuff out in the yard again?
Who turned the light on again?
We're paying for that electricity.
So Forrest, you guys pretty much, everything's planted, everything's dialed in or getting dialed in. Is there maintenance? Are you doing clover maintenance this time of year? Like, for instance, at Ellsbury, during turkey season, I should have mowed before and sprayed before turkey season, but I didn't. And so then once turkey season got there, I didn't want to do it during that period. I just didn't really want to get equipment in there and all that. Well, it kind of bit me in the ass because it was so tall. By the end of turkey season, we had so much rain. I finally got in there and I got things.
Did you have a lot of grass growing up through the clover too? So a couple of my plots is all grass, but my main one is mostly clover with, some grass and weeds coming up. So Logan came up and he got everything brush hogged and he's going to come up, I think, this week and spray it. So if you're in that scenario, what are you doing this time of year? Like you guys usually have your stuff dialed in all the time. So it's not like you're late to the game and your clover's kind of out of control. But if it is out of control, what are the steps you should be taking right now before it gets to the heat of the summer and give it a chance for that clover to kind of revitalize itself and get some of the grasses and stuff out of there?
It's funny you say that because our clover actually kind of got a little out of control here during turkey season.
Forrest?
I know. I was a bad farm manager. I was slacking. But no, we
cooking breakfast.
Yeah. Spent too much time at the cafe. But no, we went in. We had some fields that had a lot of grass coming up in them. It was all 12 to 14 inches tall, and then I had some broadleaf weeds coming in. So I went through and sprayed it with kind of our main clover mix, imazamox, ammonium sulfate, surfactant, and then clethodim. try to kill all. We let that soak for about a week and let that all the stuff start dying. Then I went in with the brush hog, clipped it high. I don't know, 8 inches. A lot of that clover. There was a lot of clover in there, but it was starting to head out. It was a white flower, so mowed it to where I was just nipping the top of those. I didn't want to actually mow the clover. We had this rain coming here, and then that was maybe 3 weeks ago, or last week of turkey season is when I did that. Clipped it the week after turkey season, and then there was some broadleafs that had gotten pretty big. There was some mare's tail coming up pretty bad in some of them, and then a few other broadleafs. So I went in. Actually, I think it was Sunday, right before the rain. I went down, ran down and sprayed them with 2,4-DB. It's a little bit of a harsher broadleaf chemical. I went and sprayed some of those plots that had that mare's tail coming up just to kill that. And I checked them yesterday, and they're dying pretty good. So the clover's going to start coming up and canopying over.
So if you're in a scenario where the grasses or the weeds have choked out the clover, like it's not, you can't really see it underneath there. It's just, I don't know, for whatever reason, it just totally choked it out. Do you go in and just totally mow it to the ground and try to then go back and spray it? Or how do you kind of revitalize that? Because we went and frost seeded it, in February. So I think it can come back up, but the weeds and the grasses just totally choked a couple of my plots out.
This is where my opinion would differ from other people's. Probably a lot of people would go in and mow it. I think you're better off spraying it first, because if you just go in and mow it when that, especially grasses, if it's tall, especially you see it in your lawn when you mow your grass or whatever, you get that matted stuff. If you go in and just mow that grass right now, if it's tall, it's going to mat over, and that clover isn't going to come up real good through it. So in my opinion, you're better off going in and spraying it, letting it die off really good, and then mowing it. And it seems like that grass that breaks down a lot better and allows that clover to come up through it better. I mean, it's almost gonna be like putting straw down.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense
to retain moisture. So I would err towards more going in and spraying it before you mow it.
Yeah.
And you said you're waiting about a week after you spray to mow?
It depends. If it's really bad, I would probably wait 2 weeks to let that clethodim really kill the grasses super good. And depending on what, Amazamox, it's a great chemical for broadleaves because it has a little bit of residual in it and it'll kill that little stuff. But if you got some of your taller broadleaves, if they're 8 to 10 inches tall or taller, you're going to need to hit it with 2,4-DB, probably Buterac 200, just to kill it a little bit better, which that stuff will kill those weeds in a few days. But that clethodim takes a little bit of time to have the effect and really kill those grasses.
How's your clover plots looking? Are the one that you planted in the timber there? I mean, I know you guys hunted over it in the spring, but is it? Do you have much weed problems back there?
Yeah. It's whatever. I think mare's tail. I think you'd mentioned that. There's a lot of broadleaf grasses that, in one of the plots where Sophie killed her bird, the clover is almost a foot tall. It's crazy. But then there's still a lot of grasses growing up through it. And what I've done in the past is come through and because there's a height difference between the grasses and the clover, just take the weed eater. It's a small enough plot. Take the weed eater and just top off all the grasses, so at least the clover is getting some light.
Yeah.
But a lot of weeds right now. I probably should spray.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of time getting out there to do all that. To do all that stuff. I still got trail cams I need to bring in and blinds I need to take down, and it's only going to get worse. I'm only going to want to do it less as the summer goes on.
I was going to say pretty soon we got to put them back out. Literally a month we got to put them back out. Well, you don't have to, but some guys do.
Yeah.
So like I said, I was saying Thursday I took all my stuff off this one farm, and there was a lot of it was a big farm, so there's a lot of cameras on it. And I took them home, and I ended up I've never done this in the past, but I kind of cleaned off every camera. I kind of did some maintenance on them to get them ready for the next,
the circuit boards out and you're soldering new connections.
Just like the Nintendo, I just blew on it and then put it back in.
100%.
Just closed it. I figured that would do the trick.
Miranda's like, what are you doing? I'm doing work.
I did have several neighbors because I had a lot of cameras. It was a big farm. And so there was, I probably had 15 cameras on that farm that Aaron and I had put out together. And So I had them all. I had a table sitting there, and I had them all sitting out, and I had solar panels, and I had more people coming like, "What are you doing? What are those?" Like every kid in the neighborhood came by and like, "What are you doing, Matt? What is that?"
Get out of here!
I'm like, don't touch my stuff.
We should tell people that we launched Live View for stealth cams.
Yes, yeah,
it's incredible. So you can now live stream video, real time video from. If you have a Deceptor Max
or a Revolver Pro,
you can jump in there as long as your app is updated and the firmware on your camera is updated. You'll have a live view button underneath on your camera card.
So the same place where like your settings are share,
the on demand.
Yeah, on demand. You just that little caret, you hit it and it's kind of a drop down menu, right?
Yep.
And that's where live view shows up on the left, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So that'll stream and the quality will kind of be based on the signal strength that you have. But I was able to watch strutting turkeys on one of my plots this past year. And if it's a revolver, you can select different zones and have it pan around. And it's so cool. I can't imagine once deer season hits and you get a notification that, hey, you got activity on your camera, hop in, live view it.
It's like having a Ring doorbell on your farm and just checking in, And I think you guys are working on it right now where pretty soon here, you'll be able to have individual notifications per camera. So not just a mass, hey, these notifications, like you got 10 cameras out or 5 cameras or 3 cameras, notification for everything. Well, going forward soon, you'll have it to where individual cameras you can set notifications for, which will be really nice. So if there's just one that you got live view capability, you might want to get that one you set the notifications on for.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. You got to catch them when they're there. And that's the tough part.
Right. And so this past turkey season, I got a notification on my Revolver Pro. I clicked onto it, saw that I had a gobbler on the plot, and then I jumped into live view. And it also has streaming audio with the video feed. So I could listen to him spit and drum right in there. And
I think this is all cool, but until you can actually, like the Ring camera, speak to the deer or the turkey, it's not cool enough for me.
Please stay there.
No, I'd be like, hey, get off my food plot.
Not ready for you yet.
No, the real ticket would be when the trespassers walk on your plot.
That's
like, hey, what are you doing?
Then they'll come steal your camera.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Forrest, have you tried that yet or not?
No, I haven't. We disarmed all of our cameras now. And it was right before the live view came out.
It's pretty addicting. You're gonna like it. It's a really neat feature. So
and then we're giving people 60 free minutes.
60 free minutes.
Yep. When they activate their plan.
And the plan's not even that bad. Is it like $5 for 60 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine. Well, I can't imagine, but I think for the most part, you're going to tune in every couple minutes and then be done. Like 60 minutes could last the full season if you're, $5 to be able to jump in live whenever you want.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pretty cool and pretty cheap.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I found I watched that gobbler for 2.5 minutes.
There's
nothing I can do about it.
It would be great if you're running a timer and then you're doing the math. You're like, okay, to carry the 2. I got $58 left.
We do provide, if you go in the settings menu, you can see how much time is left on your plan. But it was funny because I was laying there in bed. It was 6 a.m. or something. And Beth saw me with my phone up. She's like, what are you doing? Like, watching this gum.
Why are you talking like a creep?
Well, it's early morning. And I was watching a goblin.
Like, whoa.
I could see those 60 minutes lasting until you show your kids that feature, and then I could see Cam and Lil and Bo and Sophie want to watch them all the time.
Yeah.
Airplaying it to your television. And
Bo Madness just got your phone. It's like YouTube.
That may be the only thing that makes him excited about hunting, like the YouTube factor of it.
That's right. Gamification.
Yeah. Sophie was so enthralled with Morgan Wallen's turkey hunt she loves Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
And, do you think he saw my hunt?
He might have. I mean, he's got deer cast. You never know.
That.
Well, somebody asked me the other day, like, you ever get to hang out with those guys? I'm like, no. Those are guys you just get to hang out with.
I hear of them.
Yeah, I've heard stories. That's about it.
Yeah.
So, hey, before we let you go, I wanted to go over one other thing. Mark sent me this. Jordan, if you can pull up my phone here. Mark sent me this last night. It's a Field and Stream article. Looks like by Travis Hall. And it talks about a new flesh-eating New World screwworm could devastate big game herds, conservationists warn. And it's a recent outbreak of parasitic flies in Mexico spreading north and with big implications.
Shut the border down.
Yeah, for game herds near the southern border. Like, I thought Trump put a stop to this.
Yeah, man, we need to have you seen the slats on the wall?
Go right through.
Easily a fly could get through them.
What's interesting, you should go, maybe we'll link to the article, but you should go check it out because they talk about, I guess it happened in the 60s, back in the 60s. And the way they combated it, let me find the actual spot here, because what was interesting, you think about EHD and this midge, and there's really not much research or not much of a fix for it. Everybody talks about CWD, but all the hunters care about is really EHD and what we can do to fix it. But God, somewhere in here, okay, yeah, let's see. I recall the horror stories from the last outbreak back in the 1960s with our recent efforts to reestablish desert bighorn sheep in Texas, not to mention what this means for cattle, mule deer, and white-tailed deer. This situation must be dealt with swiftly. And that was, I think, one of the main guys from the Wild Sheep Foundation was
Mason.
Was talking about this. Yeah. But God, somewhere in this, they talked about there was they bred a male version of this, screwworm back in the 60s to go infiltrate.
His name was Frank.
And they couldn't breed, basically. And so it killed the population because the males couldn't breed.
They'll do that with mosquitoes every now and again. They'll introduce like some faulty genetics.
Yeah.
To get them to pretty much like make all, other like females drones essentially to where they can't reproduce.
Yeah. So
tricked them.
I thought that was interesting. Forrest, have you ever heard of that before? The screwworm?
I have not.
Think about it. If they did that for the midge, if they somehow could breed a male midge to go in, that's basically infertile, I guess.
What they do is they put tiny little glasses on them, like real thick rimmed, horn rimmed glasses.
They like geeks?
So they look like geeks.
Hey, some chicks are into that.
Really?
I think so.
Who?
I don't know them. I think they're into it.
Huh. I've heard rumors.
Usually it's in their 30s or 40s once they've got past the phase where they went out with
just want a good
the
guy
cool guys. Now. They just need a good guy with a good retirement account.
Some Coke bottle glasses. Let's roll.
Yeah. So
screwer, man, nothing about that sounds good.
No. I mean, think about all the things a deer, if you get CWD, EHD, you got the screwworm coming in.
I don't want that.
No.
That the article we ran in Deercast about the National Guardsmen who used their Blackhawk chopper to go shed hunting.
Dude, they're catching some major heat over that.
Oh, I mean, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars just in fuel to fly one of those, not to mention like ground support and like all the infrastructure, the cost related to keeping one of those up in the air, and then to have them taking a side quest to go shed. I mean, I'm not going to judge them because it'd be hard not to.
Well, if it was, what are they? I didn't hear the whole thing. Were they going on like BLM land, or were they going on private ground?
They got dinged for trespassing.
I mean, that's pretty screwed up.
Yep.
I just imagine, I don't know. Anytime a car drives by the farm, Terry's like, "Who is that?"
Just slow it down.
Imagine a helicopter landing. Or were these guys like ziplining down?
Yeah, like
paratroopers.
Yeah, angel descents.
Yeah,
onto the ground for antlers. It's crazy what people do for sheds.
It is. So I guess all this was like elk for elk sheds and stuff.
Yeah.
But geez, man, like
dumb, just dumb.
Yeah.
One night we were out.
Think about it. They're probably a bunch of 20-year-old, young guys. You think about majority of probably our servicemen and women are on the younger side.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What kind of? Well, maybe not you, but I did a lot of stupid shit when I was in my 20s.
Stupid.
I mean, I've wrecked cars. I've done stupid things that we can't. Copious amount. No.
Stolen from old people.
Well, who doesn't do that? Who doesn't like a Werther's original here and there?
What a nice young man.
But I don't know. I just think about that. It's like they just had access to.
You put a multi-million-dollar toy in there. Under their control.
And they're probably thinking like, who's going to see it? And out west, like it's so vast. If you've never been, it's hard to understand just how vast it is out there.
We got pinched.
There's no one around.
Yeah. And they happened to, I think the rancher actually saw them. Like he saw it happening. What are the odds?
Yeah.
We were bow fishing one night on the Merrimack River, and it was getting close to midnight. You got to quit at midnight, which is a dumb rule, by the way.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a safety
Nothing good
thing.
happens after midnight. I mean, I always heard that about like 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
But if you're on a navigable river like the Mississippi, you can bowfish all hours. But if it's a non-navigable river, like the Merrimack,
gotcha.
Which means there's no boat, there's no barges coming through, or something you got to worry about. Anyway, we're packing up to go in. It's dark out, and all of a sudden, this light just blows up the boat from above. And we're like,
UFO.
Yeah,
Rogan was right.
We're gonna get taken. And we look up, and there's a chopper of some sort.
Didn't hear him coming.
Well, there's a lot. It was
a Black Hawk.
We were by the 44 bridge there, 270 and 44.
Yeah,
and
so it was loud.
It lights. Yeah, there's a bunch of ambient noise from the highway. It lights us up, and we're like, "What the heck is this? Department of Conservation helicopter that wants to check our licenses or something?"
We're not worthy.
And I'm like throwing my hands. I'm like, "What do you want?
Come at me, bro!
Right.
Come at me!
Get to the chopper!" And they eventually just flew away. But I was pissed. I was like, "Who is that? Is that a private individual? Is that a highway patrol? Who is that?" And they shouldn't be doing stuff like that.
Well,
that's
they were
crazy.
thinking you shouldn't be out there
fishing.
Couple shots across your bow. Like,
They're lucky we didn't start shooting back.
Bow fishing. Yeah. You're attached to the. You shoot it. You're trying to reel it in.
You're gonna pull me up out of the boat.
Shoot.
Yeah. Forrest, you got to come down bow fishing with us sometime, man.
Man, I used to bow fish a lot in high school. I haven't done it in a long time.
With us, he means him and someone else.
No, we used to shoot a lot of tournaments up in northern Indiana. We'd go, they had tournaments almost every weekend, and we went and shot a bunch of them.
I think Bass Pro just had that big U.S. Open this past weekend down in Memphis.
Okay.
At that big pyramid. Yeah, Bass Pro Pyramid store that they got, because I saw a bunch of the Bass Pro guys, like Tim Wells was down there hosting it or helping to host it. I saw Johnny and JP were down there, obviously, but I think the Kiefer brothers and a few others. I saw Austin Dillon had his race car down there, so it was a big. Cool. I don't know who ended up winning or how, but that seems like it's a fun event. Anything.
The winners shot. I think they shot over 800 pounds of grass carp, and they won. I think the winning team got like $30,000.
Nice.
You know how bad that boat would have stunk?
I don't know, because I've never done it. I can imagine, which is why I don't do it.
Yeah. Especially if you hit one of those.
And I don't know if a Zebco could pull in a grass carp. I mean, it'd be tough.
Most of the guys that shoot the big fish like that, the big grassies, have the Zebco
on their bows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like the big commercial strength Zebco.
I mean,
it's all you. Vindicated?
Vindicated.
You should.
Yes.
Big boy bow fisherman.
We were talking off air here that I'm looking at a new piece of property that I'm close to closing on, and it's got a big lake on it. It's really pretty, and there's supposed to be a lot of trophy bass in there. And every person I've told about it is like, "Hey, yeah, come help fish.
Hey, while you're up there, you could help remove some honeysuckle."
The other neat part about this property had thousands of walnut trees they planted about 20, 25 years ago. And so some of them didn't take, but there's a lot that are coming up. It's a pretty farm. It's neat.
You going to harvest them?
They didn't look like they were to the point. They weren't that big yet.
Not the trees, the walnuts.
Well,
are they black walnuts? Do you know?
No, I have no idea.
They're regular kind of walnuts.
They told me they were walnut trees.
I don't know. They could be poison ivy bushes. I don't know.
No, I didn't think they were big enough to actually produce anything yet.
Oh,
to me, they look like they needed about another 25 years.
It's interesting down in southern Missouri, near Devil's Backbone Outfitters, where my buddy Chance runs that place. They have places where you collect your black walnuts and you bring them there, and they have machines. They're just sitting out in their in people's driveways that like roll them and they take the brown kind of mushy husk off of them and get down to the actual walnut and then
you eat them,
crack them. Black walnuts are worth a lot of money.
Like for what purpose? What eating?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yep.
I'll be damned.
So you could be the walnut baron.
I would love to be the walnut baron.
This whole hunting thing doesn't work out for you.
Not.
You could so far.
The jury is definitely still out.
You get a contract with Captain Crazies
and sending my walnuts down his way.
Yep. I'm a walnut exporter. Kind of a big deal in Missouri.
That's right. Yeah.
So just an idea for you.
That's a good one. Well, Forrest, what's next for you?
Just moving blinds. We're really wet up here right now. We've had got 2 inches of rain last night, so moving some blinds going today.
Iceberg index.
Yeah,
I knew it was bullshit.
Yeah, we needed it. We were pretty dang dry, and our soybeans needed it and corn obviously to keep going. So, but just moving blinds and gonna spray some post emergent on into the week, and then probably gonna plant some. I'm gonna plant a new clover plot next week, and then on to trimming tree stands and the rest of the list of stuff for the rest of summer.
So when you plant one this late in the game, where by your next week it'll be late May. So what are you doing to ensure that it survives the summer heat?
We're just hoping and praying that it does.
Well, that sounds terrible.
We're not
saying that in a bad way, Tim.
Prayer is terrible to you.
I'm just saying that doesn't seem like much of a plan.
That seems like one of my plans.
No, we're gonna plant a host crop of wheat or oats or wheat with it, or we may mix it because that's gonna come up and shade it out. And we've planted them this late. As long as you get the rain, it'll be fine. If not, we'll go back in the fall and we'll probably no-till something like last bite into it or oat wheat mixture, and then seed it again with clover, and then go ahead and frost seed it again next spring. But it is late to try it this spring, but we're gonna go ahead and give it a whirl, I think.
What God are you gonna be praying to?
Buddha?
No, not Buddha.
Why are you the way you are?
I hate so much about the things you choose to be.
Okay, well,
I just like to ask people. I mean, what if you would have said Vishnu or something? That would have been interesting.
I don't know who that is.
It's a god. I made it up god. Still a god.
All right, let's move on.
Was it Vishnu?
No.
Okay.
I'll say it when I go to church on Sunday. I'll pray over my clover. Typically, that's not something I pray over, but
it's like when people say they're like
thing to pray about.
They're doing a race for cancer or something. I always want to make sure, is this in support of cancer or to fight cancer? Because I don't want to give money to something that's going to promote cancer.
No.
Mm-mm.
Have you had enough yet?
No, I'm good.
No, I could sit here all day.
Ask me non sequiturs all day.
All right. Well, we don't have our show sheet unless you want to pull up go to the thing, pull it up, Tim. We forgot to print them out. Jim would be highly disappointed.
Mortified. I spent 5 hours on this yesterday, and he
had a tornado down in his area last night.
Join the club.
This segment of 100% Wild is brought to you by PH Outdoors. Check out the full line of the G Series and brand new M Series drills at phoutdoors.com. But a real one.
Joey Kessinger, when asked about what's great about the podcast, he says the whole podcast is good, especially when Matt comes in buzzed, which doesn't happen enough. No. Y'all do all right, no matter what Mark and Terry say, LOL. Keep up the good work, guys. Joey Kessinger.
Well, we shoot at 9 a.m. mostly, so I mean, I could come in buzzed.
Still kind of, we barely have time to get our makeup on, let alone drink.
Like, look at these 4 heads. There's a lot of
5 heads
base that we got to put on, or whatever they call it.
We use a putty knife.
HS Strut and the DoD Signature Series of calls puts the sound of spring at your fingertips. From the first owl hoots of the morning to the last quiet clucks and purrs in the moment of truth. Be ready for any calling situation the Turkey Woods can throw at you with HS Strut. All right. What else?
We do have some new Rack Pack members that just don't have their names. Jim's question about do you wash your face mask during turkey season? I don't think mine stinks.
Me neither. What are you doing?
Yeah, I was confused by the question.
No, I get it. Like, think about it. If you're sweating and, or you got it up and, you're using your mouth call a lot.
Just had a Casey's pizza and you're breathing sausage breath into it.
Some stank to it.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's why Kilmer just flipped his around.
I guarantee you his stinks. His hasn't been washed ever.
It was clean at the beginning of this year because it was a new one.
Mine always ends up with a lipstick, like, stain right in the center of it.
Right near the pucker.
Mm-hmm. What? Wait.
Pucker.
Okay.
Pucker up? No?
Oh, no. I'm very familiar.
Okay. Yeah, I don't wash it. Mark once told me this is about deer season. And we were talking about ozoning your clothes or whatever. And I'm like, really? I only had to wash my clothes like once or twice this year. He's like, it's because you don't kill anything. I was like, oh, shots fired.
Give me some more tips, Matt Drury, on how to kill deer.
He's like, if you kill deer, you actually have to wash your clothes a little more. Like,
that hits home.
Yeah. It's like, it's a good point. Very factual.
Okay.
Still hurt.
You got dried up deodorant cakes in your shirt there. You wonder why you're not seeing anything.
All right.
But y'all say
Well, for safe travels today, buddy.
Thank you.
Be careful over there in Western Illinois.
Will do.
You're in Leatherneck country, bro.
Leatherneck country?
Yeah, I went to school at Western, and that's what our
Is that near where the midgets are, or is that a little further south?
That's Freeburg.
They're taking a lot of heat for that.
They have for years, but I'm proud of them. They're standing up. Standing tall for
We're
going
to be midgets forever.
Yeah.
There's a high school in Southern Illinois that's the Orphans. That's even worse.
Yeah.
Who the hell picked that mascot?
Well,
I don't know.
There's DuPage up in north central Illinois. Their high school mascots are the Stupid Idiots.
That's rough.
I don't believe him. You got to know when he gets real serious is when he's really full of shit.
Now we're playing the Stupid Idiots Friday night.
We're playing the Orphans. Was it the Lonely Orphans or just the Orphans?
Malnourished.
Just the Orphans, I think.
I think malnourished.
That means at some point that high school was made full of orphans. Like there was an orphanage near. They were all uneducated.
They're lousy with orphans.
Let's put a school together, call it the Orphans.
And let's make these suckers do sports.
There's a town full of bastards.
Yeah.
That would be a good name.
That's their motto on their tourism brochure.
Just a town full of bastards. All right, I've had enough for the day.
Sorry, Forrest.
Well, we appreciate you parking your truck near the side of the road and wasting an hour and a half with us today, buddy.
No problem.
Yeah.
Problem was fun.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll catch up here towards the end of the summer and see. We want to actually hear about these deer you guys are chasing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The three biggies.
Had enough.
All right. Smell you guys later.
Till next time. Peace out.
Deercast is completely updated and better than ever. Prep, predict, and pursue your target buck with our detailed maps, weather, and 14-day movement predictor. We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV is brought to you by Deercast Maps, waypoints, weather, virtual rain gauges, and more. Every tool you need to get ahead of your game.